Welcome back to the Building Your Brand podcast. And today in this solo episode, I wanted to chat a bit about how your branding impacts how you show up for your business. Now, one of the things that I have used, I guess, as a tool to explain and describe branding, which isn't like a perfect analogy, but that it's a bit like a uniform for your business, but it's a uniform that you get to choose. So it's not, like some absolutely vile school uniform that you hate wearing. It's almost like you pick your best outfit that makes you feel the best, and then you wear that or variations of that every day. So you're not having to pick a fresh outfit every day. So there's that aspect of it where it saves you loads of time because the decisions are made and it's something that reflects you really, really well. But it also makes you feel really, really confident. And honestly, the thing that lights me up the most as a branding designer is when I create branding for a client, and I mostly work with businesses. So usually there's just one person in the business, or if it's a team, it's like a really, really small team. And it's when I create branding for them and it just feels so them, it feels so aligned to like their vision and what they're trying to do. And it completely transforms the energy that they show up in their business with. And I have experienced this firsthand myself. You can probably imagine that as a branding designer, I spend most of my time doing branding for my clients and working on stuff for them. My own personal branding often gets very neglected because it's hard to make time to work on it. And I remember a few years ago, it was quite a while ago now, I had this website and the branding was out of date and it was just so ugly and I hated it. And I just felt so cringe every time I told someone about it or needed to direct someone to my website, to the point that it was massively impacting how I showed up, how I sold myself, because I didn't want people to go to my website, but I needed people to go to my website to find out more about me and my services and to potentially like work with me. Like that's where they needed to go for the information. So that experience really was such a good and stark reminder to me that when your branding is in place, it feels good, it feels aligned, it feels like you. Oh my goodness, the energy that you show up with is so different, because when I redid it and I changed it and I felt proud of it, oh, it was amazing. And I even experienced it again when Studio Cotton made the website for my podcast. Designing for yourself is like one of the most hideous experiences ever, and it's really, really hard. So to be able to give them my branding and then them create a website for my podcast was absolutely incredible. And I feel so confident about it. And I honestly feel so proud sending people to that website. I think it really, communicates what I want to do with this podcast so well. It's just like such a good website. And so, yeah, I've seen the difference. And, obviously it's not all about websites. It's about how you show up on social media, so when I have definitely seen this with clients, when they come to me, they've basically stopped posting, maybe even like they're not telling people about what they offer, they're not marketing their business because how it looks and feels is just all wrong and it doesn't feel like them. And then when the branding process happens and they've got this new branding and it feels aligned, like the confidence and energy that they show up with is totally different. And getting to have such a sort of close up view of that transformation is just amazing. And I had a client last year in particular who really sort of shared with me that process, like how she felt about it along the way. And it was really interesting to see the impact it had. She would tell me about how she had way more ideas than she'd ever had before for her business, how she just believed in her mission and her vision even more than ever. Like the way that she was showing up was so consistent, and it was just honestly a beautiful thing to watch. And I think a lot of us as small business owners, we're really working through this whole process, and it'll look different for everybody, but this whole process of finding that work that really lights us up, that yes makes us money but also makes us feel fulfilled and feels really aligned. Like I think for me alignment is a big word here. That work that feels aligned, I think we're all on a journey to find that, and it's finding that sweet spot of where okay, this feels right and people want it, and the money, I'm making money from it, I'm growing my business, whatever that growth might look like. And it starts to feel really, really good. And I think we're all on a journey with that. And sometimes it's different things that are holding us back, different blocks, different things that are getting in the way of that happening. And so it's not necessarily always going to be branding for everybody that is the block. But I think for a lot of people, it is. We are like very visual people, especially like, I work with a lot of creatives. So how things look is really important. This whole idea that, we all know the cliche of don't judge a book by its cover, but that's exactly what we're all doing. We are bombarded with so much visual information every day from like ads, billboards, reels, we're always looking at stuff. And so we have to make really split decisions about whether something is relevant to us, whether it's important to us. And so how something looks is important because that's all we've got to go on to make that split decision often. Like sometimes it's even, just based on the colors a brand uses or the fonts a brand uses. We make the decision before we even delve into the content to know whether it's interesting for us. So we have like seconds to draw people in and to communicate what our brand is all about. And so that's why I think branding is so important. And it's why I get really, really excited about it and why I love working with clients. Like seeing that transformation is honestly one of the most fulfilling things ever. So yeah, that is why branding can have a huge impact on how you show up for your business. And if you are thinking about updating your branding, maybe it's just been feeling off for a while, it's just not quite right anymore, maybe it's just not serving the stage of business that you are in right now and you want to change things, then I would love to hear from you. I'm booking in clients for this year. Even if it's further down the line, even better. I love plenty of notice for a project, then yeah, get in touch, let's chat. And I'm always really chilled with this sort of thing. It's never going to be like a hard sell. I want to work with people who want to work with me. And so whenever I have like a discovery call with a client, it's very much like a two-way thing. It's like, let's get to know each other so that I can see if I think you're the right fit client for me, and you can get to know me and see if you think I'm the right fit designer for you. So it's all very chilled and no hard sell, just a like getting to know you and learning more about the project kind of experience. So yeah, if you are interested in working with me this year, then I would love to hear from you. And I'm going to do another episode about sort of DIY branding, when the right time to rebrand is, sort of the difference between a rebrand and maybe like more of a brand refresh. So come back for my next solo episode, which will be next week. And yeah, let me know what you're thinking of the solo episodes. I'm always open to feedback. I love hearing what has resonated with you, what you're finding interesting. And I'd also love to hear if there's any topics that you would like me to cover in these solo episodes. So either comment below if you're watching this on YouTube, or comment at Liz M. Mosley, or come find me on Instagram where I'm at Liz M. Mosley or at Building Your Brand Podcast.